All right, good evening to you. My name's Kody McFerrin. I'm in the First Alert Weather Center, and we're taking a multi-box. Basically, we're looking at two different things here. I'm looking live right now from Perryville. This is I-55. This particular camera is located in southeast Missouri, just across the Mississippi River. If you go west of Carbondale, it's on the other side of the river there, and right there they're seeing rain. You can see on First Alert Doppler Network there's already some interesting activity beginning to occur. I just drove home about 55 minutes ago. I began my journey on home, and it is already becoming a mess out there. So let's get to it. We've got a lot to talk about. This video is probably going to take a little bit to upload too, so I apologize for that. Right now, as of the time of this recording, we've got lots of rain across the area, and the rain is going to be a big deal because if you're seeing rain right now, it's likely going to freeze later on once we can get those numbers below freezing. I've also put the current temperatures on there, so why don't we take a radar tour? Let's dive on in. In southern Illinois right now, some light to moderate rain. First Alert Doppler Network, at least with the precip type on, is showing mainly light rain, but if I turn off the precip type here, well, it's going to show the same thing, of course, but what I'm trying to drive home is there is some moderate rain occurring in this as well. Now, when I drove home at 8 o'clock, the temperature from my vehicle was showing generally about 38 to 36 degrees, and that was from Crab Orchard to Stone Fort. So it's already getting colder out there, and as you can see down here, we're getting some mixing in of some snow, and right in here is kind of where the freezing line is in southeast Missouri along Marble Hill, Advance, Morley, Sykeston, Fredericktown, and then back up to Farmington. But if you're in southern Illinois right now, you're seeing rain. And you're going to see rain for at least the next little while. Now, based on this radar image alone, it's probably going to be about between, I'd say at least 9:45, 10 o'clock before I would even say the snow is entering into our area as far as southern Illinois goes. Now, let's take a look at some other things across the area because that's important. I'm going to switch sources really quickly to a second radar so that I can show you something in particular it'll kind of look a little bit better on this radar. So give me just a second, and we're going to switch to that right now. Of course, I don't have it loaded, so give me just a second, and I'll have that up on your screen because this is going to show us a little bit of a better view of how heavy some of these snow bands are across the area, and I think you're going to be pretty impressed with that as well. So here we go. All right. And here we go. Alright, so I'm going to pull this up onto your screen. And you can see it now. It'll look a little wonky. But there you go. So this is another mode of looking at radar here. This is another source we use. And as we take a look off in southeast Missouri where that snow is beginning to occur, you see these purples in here? That's the heaviest band of snow. And on Futurecast is trying to develop a heavy band of snow as well into our area later on once this moves in. And if this does occur as Futurecast suggests, which I do think it will happen, this is going to increase our snow rates as well. So that's something we're going to be watching for. So we're going to go back to the main graphic system and talk a little bit more about this. Real quick, I do want to pass along a couple reports. These are from southeast Missouri, but this just shows you how quick the snow is adding up. We got a report 5 miles northwest of Oxley. That's in Ripley County, Missouri. If you're not familiar with where that's at, as we look at this map, that's going to be out here in towards the Donovan area. That's where they're talking about, and that report was from the public, and they're reporting 2 inches of snow already there. In Elsinore in Carter County, Missouri, broadcast media reported 1 inch of snow as well. So things are going to get nasty really quickly. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the rest of the evening. What can you expect for the rest of tonight? As far as our impacts, this graphic hasn't changed too much, but I do think that we do need to talk a little bit about these impacts a little bit more because a lot of people want to know what these snow totals. We're going to talk how much snow we can expect, but I don't want you to just focus on snow because snow is not the main impact here from this event. We're going to have ice that's going to form, I believe, pretty quickly on the roadways once we dip below freezing. The rain that's occurring right now is leaving that ponding, and as soon as it hits freezing temperatures, it's not going to take it very long to freeze over, especially with untreated roadways. Wind gusts, it's going to be very gusty tonight, gusts as high as 30, maybe even 40 miles an hour possible, and that along with wet, heavy snow is going to put a lot of stress on our power lines tonight, and any ice, of course, that does form won't help us. So that's why I've got the power outages at a 5 out of a 5 impact. So I'm keeping these numbers for our impact graphics. All right, let's walk you through Futurecast and get on into some of the fine details. Give me just a second to get it onto the screen. Here's Futurecast starting out at 10 o'clock tonight. You can see this model is timing that out, showing that transition zone from the rain on into the heavy snow. Notice the colors here. The darker blue is the heaviest snow bands, and that's that burst of snow we talked about, which we've seen on the radar just a minute ago. You can see that heavy band moving in by about 11 o'clock here into parts of Williamson County, Carbondale and Jackson County, Saline County, parts of Gallatin County as well, Johnson County. It's going to be very heavy. Snowfall rates as high as 1 or more inches, so 1 to 1.5 inches will be likely during this time period, and it will make travel very treacherous and dangerous because of the reduced visibilities that we'll have. Here's midnight tonight, well, tomorrow morning really, but tonight at midnight you can see a lot of heavy snow across the area. Temperatures at this point, which in the just from about 34 up near Ava there, and then we're talking 33 in Saline County near the airport up at the Raleigh-Harrisburg Airport. 33 down is what's being depicted just north of Golconda. So either way, what I'm trying to drive home here is temperatures will be right above freezing or at freezing, and that's going to allow that wet, heavy snow to continue. Snow continues overnight into 1 to 2 a.m. This model is keeping the track further south, so I think the heaviest snow will be occurring and will allow it to occur farther south. So for folks in Williamson County, Saline County, Gallatin County, or any of the counties just south of there, so but especially Johnson County too, I think they're going to have some heavy snow as well, which we'll talk about the overall totals here in a minute, and all that other information. Here's 3 a.m. The snow begins to taper off a little bit as far as intensity. Notice this transition zone. We're going to have a period probably through the morning, early morning hours tomorrow, and you can see some sleet, freezing rain, probably a mixture really of sleet and snow mixing in as some air moves in and bringing in more rainfall by 5 and 6, but I don't think that'll last long. As we get towards 7, the heavy snow begins to kick in again, and that lasts through 8 o'clock at least. Now, I did say earlier today that it looked like this was going to be over by about between 7 or 8 o'clock, but the latest data is keeping this, the duration of this going at least until 10 or 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I think this is going to be a higher impact event than what we thought earlier today. Here's 9 a.m., 10 a.m. showing you that the snow is tapering off to the north and east, lightening up by about 11 or so, and then here's 1 o'clock showing you that things are beginning to dry out. We're still going to have some snow showers possible and maybe some rain mixed in there too through the day tomorrow, so that's something that we're definitely going to be watching for. All right, here's what everybody wants to know about. What's the snow totals look like? Here's tomorrow. This is through tomorrow at noon. So by tomorrow at noon, by the time the event is all over, a wide view of the area showing in southeast Missouri, Sikeston at 5 inches of snow there. Cape showing 6.9 inches, so basically 7 inches for Anna Jonesboro. 5.5, might as well call it 5.5 for Vienna there. 3.5 just under there at Rosaclare, 2 inches for Paducah, where that transition line will be closer to as far as the rain and snow ordeal. I think they're going to see more of a freezing rain and glaze type event down there, so the snow won't be as great. 5.5 inches up towards the Benton and West Frankfort area. Close to 6 inches for Marion, 7.5 for Carbondale, and just under 6 inches for Harrisburg. Of course, this is subject to change, and really we're going to have to watch the radar for those snow bands. Let's take a closer look, though, at the area. I'm going to zoom on into Southern Illinois a little bit closer. This will show you a more in-depth look. Where I'm at Stone Fort, this particular model run showing about 5 inches or so for Stone Fort, 5.5 inches for Goreville there, 7.1 inches, so 7 1/10 of an inch for Macanda, 6 inches at Grand Tower. Towards Galatia, seeing 5 1/4 inch of snow and 5.5, as we talked about in West Frankfort. As we dive on into parts of the south portions of Southern Illinois, 6 inches for Goreville, 5.5 for Simpson, and especially in this area in Johnson County, I think they'll have some interesting ranges of numbers. If you're on the northwest side, you can see some heavier numbers there and some lighter numbers as you go on the south and east side of the county. Heavier numbers, though, back towards Cobden and Anna based on the current model run. So it's all something that we'll be watching for. Again, we're going to be basically watching this event throughout the evening and keeping you up to date. I'll be on and off the air, of course, and if you have any other questions that you'd like to ask, please do send them my way. I'll be watching everything pretty closely from my vantage point, of course, and if I see anything interesting, I'll post it to you. Of course, probably every 2 hours is when I'll shoot another update as far as maybe a video or something like that, but I'll be doing lots of text updates as well. The closings will be going on the bottom there of your screen. You can see those scrolling across there. I've only put these school closings for Illinois, and I only plan to put the Illinois school closings on there, so that will help weed out some of the Missouri ones. So if Crab Orchard gets called off, I'll definitely let you know from my folks in the Crab Orchard area. Reporting in the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Kay McFerrin, 9 News.